It's just a fucking black ball. That's an actual quote, by the way. I'm going to talk about The Device. It's a science fiction film, sort of drama, sort of thriller. I picked it up because it was under $10. That's the cover. And then this is the back. And that is probably the most interesting thing about this entire movie. None of that is actually in the movie at all. This is mostly just watching people talk to each other, and that's about it. The story basically is about these two sisters that go to their family cabin in the woods to spread their mother's ashes into the lake. While they're at the cabin, they find an area out in the woods that looks like a plane crash, and one of the sisters goes out to investigate, and she finds a black ball hidden in the dirt. And as soon as this black ball enters their lives, all these strange things start to happen. One of the sisters starts to have really weird dreams about an alien, and her fiancé starts hearing voices. He sometimes talks to people that you can't see, and he has memories that aren't his own. And he, over the movie, he becomes rather obsessed with the black ball. Mostly this movie is watching people talk to each other. The two sisters have a family history of alien abductions, but it was hidden from Abby, who I think is probably the main character of this movie. So this is her just finding out for the first time what actually happened to her sister, and she realizes now that it's starting to happen to her. And that's basically it. This movie it's really slow. It's really slow. And there's not much going on. It's mostly just story. Like, it wasn't boring. I watched the whole thing, so that has to mean something. And I've seen it twice now. Like, there's some things that I thought were cool in this movie, like there's only 3 characters. You hardly see anyone else in the entire movie. In each scene, it's just 1, 2, or 3 people. Sometimes it's just one person, and you hear the voice of the person they're talking to on the phone. Even when they leave the house, you hardly see any other people around. So it's just focused on these 3 people. It has a really eerie soundtrack, which I like. The man, who I think his name is Kelvin or Calvin, is really creepy. And I don't just mean his character, the way he looks creepy, which helps when his character completely loses the plot towards the end. I think this was low budget. The scenes with the alien, I thought they were cool, but it's just a man in a rubber suit standing in front of some smoke and some weird, like, light, and that's basically all that you see of the alien. These alien bits only happen like 3 or 4 times during the film. The acting is not good, and bad acting is okay if the movie isn't serious, but because this movie is so serious, the bad acting kind of ruined it for me. I didn't like any of the characters at all. I found the 2 sisters, or one in particular, is kind of annoying to me. And the movie starts and ends the same way, which I also thought was interesting. And that's basically it. The story's not confusing. It's pretty straightforward, I think. But the way the movie ends, I'm just a bit like, it's one of those like, what the fuck type of things. I don't know if I would recommend this movie. I think if you like science fiction movies where hardly any science fiction stuff happens, like there's no visual effects, it's mostly just sort of like a discovery film, then I don't know, you might like it. You might. I didn't hate it. I thought it was average. I don't know. I don't even know why this was in the horror section, because it's not really horror at all. And I think it could have been done a whole lot better, and maybe it would have been suited to be a short film and not a full length. And that's about all I have to say about this movie. This was like the most boring movie review I've done. Like, I couldn't even be funny in this one. This was like too serious. Yeah. So, yeah. That's The Device. You might see me again next week, because I'm going to try and do this on a more regular basis. Because I think it might help. Because I actually get anxiety about doing these things, like, real bad. And, yeah. So, I'll see you next time.